Alright folks, how are we? Welcome back to the Fontana podcast. We are now on episode 4. This one's going to be on getting back from injury. The reason for that is it's a current topic for me, and I just want to help people who are maybe going through an injury just now or are just getting back from an injury and are about to start full training again, which is awesome if you're there. Sorry if you are injured and you're sort of in the you're in the middle of it, and sometimes that can sort of mentally shake you, make you wobble a little bit. But I hope that this podcast and my advice will help reset your mindset and help you look at it from a positive point of view. Understand that loads of athletes go through the injuries, they go through the ups and the downs, and the reason for that is because you're pushing yourself. If you were never pushing yourself, you would never get injured. So the reason for this is because I've picked up a bit of an injury coming back too fast from the marathon. I actually had the same injury the same time last year coming out of the Great Scottish Run last year. I had a good race, around 66 minutes, big personal best, but disrespected the recovery from the distance. But beforehand, here was me shitting my pants on the start line going, holy shit, I'm going to need to race 13.1 miles. Because the last time before the Great Scottish Run I done a half marathon, somehow in my head I thought it was 12 fucking miles. I was doing the Great North Run, and at 6 miles I thought I was halfway, and I thought, oh, I'll elevate the pace. What a plonker. So beforehand I'm shitting myself, and then afterwards I've ran amazing. I've came in the top 10 in an international field, and now all of a sudden I can defy physiology. I now have run 13.1 miles, but tomorrow, i.e. the Monday after the Sunday race, I can go out and do what the fuck I want. And what I did do was around a 13-mile run, which was easy / steady, but again, 13 miles after a marathon with a 3-mile warm-up, 3-mile cool-down. That's you looking at a 19-mile day, and here's me going out and running another 13 miles the day after. Probably not the best. I should have probably only done about 50 minutes or 45 minutes of easy running. But again, hindsight's a beautiful thing. And like I said in my previous podcast, the first time is a mistake and the second time is a choice. So, first time round last year, I made a bunch of mistakes. A bunch of them. It took me about 4 months. My friends and family know how down I was about this, but it took me 4 months to get back from my Achilles injury because I kept trying to push the cross training. I kept trying to push the mileage on the running, and it was just a vicious cycle where for maybe a couple of weeks I'd push, break down, go back onto the bike and into the swim pool for a couple of weeks. It'd feel quite good again, get back out, push the mileage really fast, push, break down again. If you're in the same cycle, the best advice I've got to you is the only way to break a cycle, especially a vicious one like that, is just to stop. It is literally just to stop. The definition of insanity is doing the same old thing, expecting different results. Please you need to look at this from a bird's eye view. If you're going through this vicious cycle just now, you need to stop. I know that it's hard. I know that when you're a distance runner or you're an athlete who loves to train and do what they love to do and it's been taken from you, you don't think properly because you think that everybody else is out there getting fitter than you doing what they love to do. Just think about this though. You're letting them get even fitter than you if you're still going through the cycle. Please remember that. If you're still stuck in the bike after 2-3 months, when you could have been back running after 6 weeks or 7 weeks, you're still letting them get ahead of you. For some people, they may get fit during cross training and they might be able to cope with it really well, but I'm going to talk about my experience and how it actually, for a short while, cross training did not help me recover properly. The reason being, having plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendonitis, when I was trying to smash interval sessions on the bike, and having the gear slightly high, I'm putting pressure through that foot and that Achilles, the soleus and the calf when I'm pushing at 100, 110, 120, 130 revs per minute. You've got to remember that you're using the muscle in a different format. I don't want to say you're using different muscles because you've only got, we said that about running, cycling, swimming, boxing, MMA, you're using different muscles. You're not using different muscles. There's 4 muscles in your quad. You've not got 20 of them. You just use the 4 muscles in your quad or the muscles in your hamstring or your calf in a different fashion. That's all you're doing. And it's a little bit different to running. Cycling is quad dominant. Cycling's hamstring dominant. So you're going to kind of affect your biomechanics there also because you're pushing on the pedals instead of pulling over the ground when you're running. So this injury this time round, I spoke to my coach, phoned Jeff. I said, I'm limping while I'm walking. The sensible thing to do is to take some time off. I've not had any downtime or any sort of breaks or recovery time since I got back from my injury around February, early March in 2019. So I thought, you know what? The reason I'm injured, the reason I'm sore is my body's telling me something. The reason you're ill, the reason you're hurt is your body's giving you warning signs like the check lights on a car. It's going, something isn't working properly. Give us a bit of time to recover and the light will go off. But again, us as distance runners, we're super motivated. We take pain from lactic acid or pain in terms of our body as a sort of hurdle that we want to conquer. And sometimes it conquers us. So I took 5 days completely off. Then I took 5 days of cross training. And lo and behold, Jesus, my Achilles got better. I wasn't limping when I was walking. I wasn't limping when I do a wee jog to the car or the bus or the train. It was pain-free. I was loving it. But I knew that if I was to start running too early, I was going to dismantle all the great progress I'd just made. So after the 5 days of completely no running, no cross training, I then done 5 days of only cross training. And that was going on the bike, keeping it a slightly low gear and just spinning my legs. No interval sessions, no minute fast, no minute easy. It was just steady, easy cycling just to get the blood flow, get a wee bit of a heart and lung stimulation, just mentally cope with the demons of not being training for a wee while, the calories that you've not been burning, getting out of shape, just to cope more psychologically than physiologically, because ultimately being injured is a psychological struggle as well as a physiological struggle. So I started with just 30 minutes easy, put it up 5 minutes every single day. So by the end of the day 5, I was up at 50 minutes of easy cycling, getting my heart rate up, getting a wee sweat on. It's all good. I was feeding the demons. Then after that, I then started, what I wanted to do was, my plan was, I had 3 options. When you're injured, you've got 3 options, and it's, do you want to get fitter when you're cross training? Do you want to maintain the fitness that you currently have when you're cross training? Or number 3, do you want to get back to running as quick as possible? And for me, it's number 3. I worked my ass off to get myself in this position. I now need to work my ass off to get myself out of this position. So, I would rather take the cross training a little bit lighter. I really don't do that much interval training on the bike or in the swimming pool when I'm injured. It's just mostly steady state work, just working at a steady pace for the time that I'm on the bike or the time that I'm in the pool. The reason being, I've tried to do the intervals and it's caused me like flare-ups in my Achilles or my soleus or my foot. So that's just from a personal choice and opinion. And the reason for that is, even when I get back running from cross training, you guys might be the same, is that when you start back running, no matter how hard you cross trained, you get back, do a 4, 5, 6 mile run, and you feel like a fat lazy bastard. You're like, what the fuck? Sweating, breathing heavy, legs are tired. The reason for that is because of also what I call impact fatigue. I feel that in running, not only have you got like anaerobic, aerobic, alactic energy systems, I also feel that the impact, the feet hitting the ground, is also a part of performance, i.e. a 1500 metre, 800 metre runner trying to race over a half marathon or a marathon, they're fit enough to do it, but their legs start to kill them because of the amount of impact that their feet, their knees and their hips and their back is taking from each step on the ground. I feel that impact fatigue, the accumulation of that, is also a part of your fitness. Now I'm going to dive into what I done during the second time now getting Achilles tendonitis. The training I done to help build me back up to, today it's Sunday and I've just completed my first 10 mile run, so I'm really happy with that, really over the moon. There's a little bit of ache, but you've got to, with the Achilles and things like certain injuries, you've got to gauge whether the ache is because it's just a little bit stiff, during the recovery period, or is it a painful ache, as in like you're damaging it. So you've just got to play that one by ear. Again, that's you dabbling sort of with the fine line of trying to get back to your training quite quick. But again, any point it was going to feel as if it was an ache that wasn't as if it's on the way to recovery, I would have stopped there and then. So, I was out with a few of the guys this morning, which was good to get some company. And also, they were just checking in with me every, 5-10 minutes, just making sure my Achilles was okay. So, now I'm over the moon that I've got 10 miles done, whereas last Sunday I done 6 miles at a slower pace as well. So, it's starting to get, slowly, I'm starting to get there again, which I'm really happy about. I'm going to start a light session on Tuesday. It'll be something, maybe sort of 5 times 2 minutes at around, anywhere between 6 minutes to 5:30 pace. And I know that some people that might seem quick, but again, it's way off marathon pace for me. So, it's not too fast, but it's just trying to put a little bit of impact and a little bit of pressure through my Achilles to make sure that I can handle the stress of hopefully the sessions in the next coming weeks. So, from the first week it got sore to then starting to cross train on it by doing no running. My mindset was on, this was what worked for me. I don't want to give anybody a perfect diagnosis plan. I just want to give people ideas, because everybody's individual and everybody's at certain points in their training or in their recovery phase for injury. So my idea was, what I want to do is I got up to 50 minutes of cycling, took the couple of days off, and then when I get back on Monday, I decided that I was going to do 60 minutes of total aerobic exercise. And what I mean by that is if I'm going to do 15 minutes of running, I'm going to do 45 minutes of cycling or 45 minutes of swimming. So I started with my 3 miles, I put them back to back, that's around 21, 22 minutes, and from there I went on and cycled on the bike anywhere between 35 and 37 minutes, but sometimes, you know me, I would round it off to 40 minutes, so 60 minutes of cardio for the first week. Also took a day off on the Saturday because I done 5 days consistent running back to back with the cycling. So I'm up now at 5 hours of volume on my body. So the total time of stress under my Achilles was now 5 hours instead of beforehand. It was actually only, roughly around maybe like 2.5 hours. So I've doubled the intensity on my Achilles. Then on the week 2 of getting back to running, that's where I decided, going from 3 to 4 mile runs, I started doing a little pyramid. So I do 4, 5, 6 mile runs on consecutive days. So, I do a 4 mile run on the Monday, 5 mile run on the Tuesday, 6 miles on the Wednesday. Then I'd go back down, I'd go 4, 5, 6, and then I'd take a day off. And then in that time as well, I was then still covering either the 30 to 20 to 30 minutes of the bike or the cycling. So that's where my thought process was to help me cope with the demons of the psychology part of being injured. Then it was great to have my work as well, because to take your mind off the, sort of being down because you're injured and you can't do anything about, maybe your bad performance, and you want to rewrite it as quick as you can, but sometimes you need to be patient. So week 3, that's me just finished week 3 there. I went to 8 miles. I took a little jump because it's actually starting to feel really good, really fast, because I've only been doing, 4, 5, 6 mile runs. The last time when I got injured last year, I was trying to get up to 10, 12, 14 miles of running in one day. No wonder I was out for 4 months. So again, I've learned from that. And what I done was, on the Monday, I would do 8 miles, and then on the Tuesday, I would half it and do 4 miles. And then again, I'd go back out on the Wednesday and do 8, and then come back down and do 4. And then I was doing the 8, 4, 8, 4, 8, 4. That would take me to the Saturday. Saturday, I done 6, and then today, I done 10. So that's my 3 week sort of cross training, phasing back into running, how I got myself back really, really quick. I also done lots of massage, I got acupuncture, I got grafting as well, scraping, the scraping tool to break down the scar tissue that builds up on the Achilles. Those little sort of bumps on your Achilles from basically the stitching, the restitching of the scar tissue, so that it's hoping, the same as you break a bone, the calcification, so that bit never tears again. But what actually happens in the tendons when the scar tissue's there, it decreases the functionality of the tendon, because the damaged part is now losing, basically, there's nervous fibres that run through these areas that help your Achilles to contract, shorten and reflex. It's called the stretch shortening cycle. When you hit the ground, what happens is that works less efficiently if there's scar tissue around the area. How I explain that to people who are injured, like my clients, I say, your nervous system, the way your body works, the muscles work, the tendons work, the ligaments work, there is signals that the brain sends to these areas, and that's kind of like the motorway. Cars on the motorway, you're going 70 miles an hour, zooming down the motorway, but then just imagine that scar tissue being a speed bump on the motorway. It's going to slow down you getting from A to B. It's also slowing down the signal from your brain to that area as well, which means the force isn't immediately transmitted from muscle to bone when your muscle contracts. So that's why you need to break down that scar tissue, use the grafting, use that scraping method. Some people use dry needling as well, but in the UK, it's quite big in America, dry needling. But over in the UK, it's been quite hard to find somebody who does dry needling. So that's sort of like the therapeutic uses. I also have a Strasbourg sock as well. I actually swear by the Strasbourg sock. I have that on, just now I have that on maybe 30 to 60 minutes a day. So when I'm watching TV at night for, 45 minutes to 60 minutes while I'm having dinner, got my feet up on the couch after work, I've got the Strasbourg sock on and stretching out my plantar, I'm stretching out my Achilles, and I'm stretching out my soleus and my calf just to take that pressure off the lower limbs. So that's you can get them on Amazon for about £20 to £25. I use the Ultimate Performance Sock, UP. It's black, it's a sort of material splint, and that one serves me well. I've had one for about a year and 2 months now, and it's on its way out, but I mean, for £25 to save injuries, it's been really good for me. And then also, since I've been injured, I've started taking like joint health supplements. So I take one with glucosamine and chondroitin and boswellia and MSM. I can't remember what that stands for again, but I think it's methyl sulfate. Nah, not gonna. I don't know what it is. I don't know at all. But basically, these are things that help lubricate your joints, help maintain cartilage health, and also take away inflammation from the joints themselves to decrease, arthritis, cricking and cracking and all these sort of aches and pains you get when you get older and you're pounding the roads. So I take a joint health tablet. Actually, I'll put that in the link. I'll put that below in the comment section, so you can go on there, and if you like it, you can get it. But yeah, I mean, again, if we go back all the way to the start, it's just sitting at a crossroads. You can go left or you can go right. You can rest and go right, or you can go left and you can test it. But I just feel like you're going to the bookies there, and you've got an odds. If you go left, your odds are significantly lowered for recovering from the injury, and if you go right, your odds are significantly greater to recover from the injury. But again, because we are distance athletes or athletes who love to train, all we want to do is do the thing that we love, and for me it's running. And sometimes you don't know anything else. You don't want to cycle, you don't want to swim, you don't want to lift weights, you don't want to cross train, don't want to do circuits or anything. But sometimes you've just got to listen to your body. Ultimately, that is, stop working on emotion and start working on logic. And it's about, nipping that injury in the bud right away. That's why some of these athletes are so great, because they can listen to their body and they can divert maybe they'll take 1 or 2 days off to sacrifice for 2 to 3 weeks. They're logically minded in terms of their thought process, and they understand that there's a greater risk in pushing through than to rest for maybe 1, 2, 3 days, instead of taking 1, 2, 3 months off by mindlessly testing the area, and it doesn't work out. Your body's sending you signals the same way your car lights up in the dashboard. It's saying something's wrong, and you need to take a bit of downtime just to fix it. And I know that that's hard, but again, that's the reality of the sport. Are we here to... some people just do it because they love to do it. But again, maybe I'm talking to people who want to perform well. They want to run personal bests. And to run personal bests, you need to look at running as performance. And if you can't do training sessions that help you get fitter, and you're only doing easy running, that's technically not going to get you into personal best shape anyway. So now you're running so far outside your energy system pace that technically doing a big bunch of easy running anyway isn't going to get you fitter. Neither is resting, but one's definitely going to get you back quicker, and one's just going to keep you on that vicious cycle and kind of not let you get anywhere. Alright, so hopefully people found this insightful. If you did, leave a comment below, let me know what you thought of it. If you have any questions that you want me to answer in the next podcast, just comment in the comment section below. If you liked it, give it a wee thumbs up. If you think that when you're listening to this, somebody else will benefit from it, please share it, because then it's going to help that person get back to form quickly. Like I said, illnesses and injuries, we don't wish them on our rivals at all, because we know how detrimental it is to our mindset. So if it can help somebody out there, amazing. Share it, like it, subscribe, and I'll keep them coming. Alright folks, you have a good Sunday, and I'll see you later.